Hi everybody, today we're going to be talking about orbs showing up in your photos after you've lost a loved one. I'm Diana Palm. I'm the medium helping you heal the grief from heartbreak and loss so that you too can find inspired life changes after loss. So many of my clients actually send me pictures and they want me to evaluate the orbs that are showing up in their photos after they've lost a loved one. So today I'm going to talk about orbs and everything you can expect from orbs. What are they? What do they mean? And how you can actually capture orbs yourself on film. So I'm happy to be here today. Orbs are my specialty. I've been working with the spirit world my entire life. So I've written down a bunch of questions that my clients have sent me over the years, and we're going to be addressing that in today's video. So to start with, what are orbs? For those of you that are new, it's when you take a picture and you have these balls of light that show up in your photograph. Orbs are actually spiritual energy, which means they're not necessarily only your loved one who passed. It can also be your angels, your guides. It can be a ghost if you're living in a haunted property. Orbs are like a spiritual vehicle that comes through from different realms. So to break it down, I'm going to make it easier for you to identify the orbs that are actually your deceased loved ones. Most of the time, let's see, and I'd also like to say that the orbs can also be bringing through your pet from the afterlife. So many orbs filled with little pets, pet faces and pet energies. So it's just the vehicle getting through from the spirit world to the physical realm. That's what orbs represent. If you've never had an orb in your photo, that would be really rare because orbs have been showing up so much more readily for everybody lately, especially in the last 5 to 10 years. It used to be that you could only see orbs in like a digital point and shoot camera because many of the high-tech cameras actually have filters in place that wouldn't allow you to capture the spirit world. But many of my clients are actually getting orb photos on their iPhones or other smartphones. So there is something happening where orbs are much more easy to capture and photograph no matter what type of phone or camera you use. Okay, so let's break into some of these questions. I want to make sure that I answer all of them for you. Colored orbs. Sometimes you'll see orbs that are full of color and most of them will be white or light gray. I'm going to tell you what those can mean for you. So when you get colored orbs, typically that could be associated with archangels. Archangels are associated with different chakras and different colors. And so you can simply Google, like if you're getting a green orb, you can Google the archangel that is associated with that color green or magenta or whatever color that you're getting. Typically, not always, but typically when you're getting colorful orbs, that is archangel energy. Regular angels will show up in white light. Your loved ones will show up in white light. Pets also will show up in white light orbs. So when you're getting gray orbs, that is typically going to be more associated with ghosts or earthbound spirit. They won't have quite the luminosity that a loved one from the other side will have. It'll be more of a muted color. So it could be anywhere from a light gray to a dark gray in color. If you're getting those types of orbs, we definitely want to do a spiritual clearing on your house, your property, or wherever you're capturing the orbs in, because that energy can be draining for the living. So you want to make sure that the orbs you're getting are kind of bright, luminescent, just full of energy and light, because that is what loved ones from the other side and your angels and guides will be emitting, a high spiritual vibration, which is full of light. The earthbound spirits, they don't have that kind of light. Other spiritual energies, negative entities and all of that, they're going to be much lower down on the spectrum. So think about it as a scale going from bright colors and bright white down to the grays and then darker grays as you go down. So that is a really easy way for you to tell what's going on around you. Okay, loved ones. Oh, you'll also notice if you're getting family photos taken and you have a loved one in the spirit world, which many of you do, whether it's a sibling, a parent, a grandparent, even a great grandparent, you'll notice that orbs will actually show up in place. So if there's a family line and the photo's being taken, the orb will actually show up where another person would be standing. And that's pretty cool because it can actually be the approximate height of the individual, thinking of the orb as more of the face. So if that's showing up in a family photo, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so. It's easy to tell who it is based on where they're showing up in the photograph. They will try to take position because they want you to recognize them. They do really want you to know that they're there with you. So they will step into the photograph and try to show up for you in that photo. I have lots of photos like that and I love them. So if you're feeling like you're, let's say you're having a conversation with somebody about a loved one who recently passed, and all of a sudden you're just feeling either very emotional or you're feeling more perceptive of a spiritual energy around you, you're starting to sense a presence, go ahead and grab your camera. I always like to tell them that I want to take a picture, either silently in my mind or I'll say it out loud, because you do want to have permission. It's just like if somebody whipped out a picture of you and took a picture and then shared it with others, and you're like, hey, I wasn't ready for that picture, or I didn't want that shared, this is not a good day for me, whatever it is. Those loved ones on the other side are the same. So do give them that kind of opportunity to show up for you or to disappear so they don't show up in the photo. So just be like, if you're doing it for your own self, for your own healing and for your own connection to the afterlife so that you know it's real, that's going to be more of a personal thing. And it's okay for you to share that with a few close friends, but don't blast it out on social media. That's private. So in that regard, if you're feeling a presence or if you're talking about a loved one and you start to just feel more emotional than usual, that's a really good indication that your loved one has come close to you, wants to be recognized. So go ahead and grab your device, whether it's a phone or a regular camera, and start taking it where you feel the energy coming from. And if you're not that perceptive, don't worry about it. You'll begin to get more perceptive as you grow with this kind of skill. So if that's the case, take a picture in every direction. Just go right around, pivot pivot in a whole circle and continue taking pictures. And then after they're all taken, you can review them very carefully and see if there are some phenomena showing up in your pictures. Because if you're feeling it, there's a really good chance that they're there and they want to show up for you in that photograph. So give that a shot. I've had amazing results with that. I've also had, where I've heard things and quickly got my camera and taken pictures. I always get excellent spirit photos. So try that, see if you get results with that. Okay. You can learn to see orbs with your physical eyes. Initially, most people don't, but they may still sense a presence like we talked about. You also may be more perceptive to energy moving past you, and that you could be sensing their spirit walking past you. You could see something fly by out of the corner of your eye, or you could actually see a silhouette moving. And this is also usually a loved one. Grab your camera, take a picture. This part of your eye does not filter out many of the frequencies, the light frequencies that spirits reside in. So if you're seeing movement, you could actually be witnessing real orbs. Go ahead, take your camera, point and grab some footage there. Okay. Your loved ones, angels, guides, all of them, they particularly love family gatherings or anything that's bringing people together. It's entirely possible for you to get together with your loved ones and capture many orbs, because just as you have made the call and your living family all gets together, your loved ones in spirit know this and they want to be a part of this. They want to stay a part of your life. They want to be there. And often you'll find many spirit orbs in those types of photos. So pay particular attention to weddings, funerals, holidays, reunions, family gatherings of any kind where more than one is gathered from the same family, that's more likely to give you a lot of spirit orbs in your photos. Sometimes there are faces in orbs, and it's not always, and it doesn't have to be, okay? Sometimes you'll know because a loved one will die, and for a good 2 weeks, there's orbs in every photo. That's easy to tell who it is because it's associated with somebody who just passed. It's okay, Shadow. Sorry. It's okay, honey. That's my sister's dog. So he likes this topic. Okay, so that's easy for you to identify, but other times you'll actually get an orb where it still shows up as a circular ball, but if you blow it up really big, usually I like to use my desktop because I can get the picture really big. You'll actually see inside of the orb a human face or an animal face. It can be either because, like I said, our pets also come and visit us from the afterlife and they want to be recognized. So whether it's an animal or a familiar face, a loved one, their faces will be inside of the orb. So get those pictures nice and big and look to see if it's somebody that you recognize. I've had tremendous results with this. Like I said, they want to be recognized. Sometimes you'll actually see the flesh tones. Like if you get the nice and big picture, you'll be able to see the flesh tones of the skin, sometimes hair color, but that's not necessary. Sometimes it's just more of an image that's the same color as the orb, but you can still make out the difference. So do blow them up, look at them. I have a lot of people that are always doubting it. They're like, is this possible? I mean, I'm very science-minded and very practical. And it's so funny to me because it's like, yeah, so photographing spirits and being able to see their image in there, that is considered scientific data, okay? You're not just hoping and wishing that they're there. You're collecting evidence. You're collecting physical evidence. So it's funny when people's belief systems don't come into alignment with what's actually occurring around them. It's like they still want to believe it's not true. But it is true. The afterlife is real. Your loved ones are still with you, and they very much want you to know this. So that's why they always participate in showing up for your photos. Okay. Also, orbs can interact with you. I've had tremendous results with this. One time many years ago, I was in Casadega, Florida, which is a spiritualist community. And I went to a particular place where they put all the ashes of the deceased into a pond. And there were so many orbs all around when we took photos. And it was known for this because so many of the spiritualists, they love to participate with those that are interested in the afterlife. So there are so many orbs. But what was really beautiful and amazing is that's where I first learned that they would interact with you. I would literally put my hand out and ask, okay, if you have intelligence, if you can hear me, understand me, can you please come bring the orb to my hand? And the next photo, there would be an orb resting directly on my hand. And then I'd switch sides and do it again. And there are just orbs surrounding me. They're all over. And yes, they're very interactive. It's a good way to tell if it's an intelligent spirit or if it's simply something else, which is what I want to talk about next. There are a few things you do want to debunk as you're doing spirit photography. A few of the ways that you want to debunk this is making sure that it's actually a spiritual energy and not something else that's showing up in your photo. And what I mean by that is sometimes we can get false orbs. We can get false orbs in a really dusty environment. If we're in an old barn and there's just a lot of dust flying, even if you stand by the window in an old barn and you see the light streaming through, you'll see all the dust particles everywhere. Well, those can actually create false orbs. So you want to make sure that you're actually not having that kind of effect show up in your photographs. The other thing that can happen, many haunted investigations, we've had the night vision on, the infrared lenses and all of that. and a bug would enter. And you can tell that it's a bug because of its movement. So if something like that is showing up, you know that's not really an orb. It can look like that under those circumstances, especially with night vision. So orbs will drift, you know, they kind of go like this, they can go up, but where a bug will be more like all over the place. So you want to look for that too, and also notice if there are any flies or anything else in your environment that could accidentally make you think that it's an orb. The other thing is the light reflections that we get. Sometimes when we're out taking photos, if the sun hits our lens just right, or the water nearby or whatever, we can get orbs in that way as well. And that's a little bit more tricky because of course we're going to get, you know, flares of light and really amazing effects from the sun's rays and from the reflections that occur during film taking in these environments. It's not necessarily false. And here's why. Spirit will use whatever light frequency and reflective surface is around in order to reveal themselves, because it's easier for you to see them. So it's easy to rule out if every photo is, you know, the same, but if you're taking one and you're seeing the image of a loved one, or you're seeing a lot of orbs, you can tell the difference by how it makes you feel. And also if you do a couple sample photographs, especially if you take like 3 photos in one position, one of them may have something really mystical and then the other ones are normal, then that would be a really good indication that you've received a spirit photo. So play around with it, take multiple photos every time you do it so that you can navigate for yourself which orb photos are really authentic for you and which ones are your loved ones that are showing up. Always take spirit photography with respect. Like I said, ask for permission, tell them that you're doing this for yourself, that you desire that connection or the afterlife proof, that you may share it with some close family and friends, and that you will not blast it all over social media. I just think that that's a really nice, respectful way to go about it. And when you are respectful to spirit, spirit will always be respectful back to you. Sometimes, you know, when you're getting spirit photos, you may get a lot more relative to what's going on in your life as well. We mentioned earlier the holidays, family gatherings and stuff like that. But what if you're going through something in your life that's kind of a life-changing event? Let's say you're going through something big, like you're finishing college, or you're getting divorced and you're not sure about your next step, or you're making a big move in your life. There's a drastic change going on. It's almost like the ripple energetically goes out to your family, your loved ones in the spirit world, and all your angels and guides, and they are on it. They are on it, and they're there for you. You don't have to tell them, I'm going through a difficult time, please come. They already know because they're attached to you, because they are still connected. They're seeing what's going on in your life. So you don't have to ask them to be there with you. They already are. So if you're going through a major life change in any way, you're definitely going to notice more orbs in your photos. You're going to have much more spiritual phenomenon. You'll probably be hearing them, dreaming about them, and receiving guidance in a lot of different ways. And ultimately, that's what they're there for. They want to let you know that you are not alone. Even if you think you're on a solo journey, you are still always surrounded by your loved ones in spirit. Okay, so we've ruled out flies, dust, moisture, and light reflections, but also taking precaution and just knowing which ones are authentic orbs and which ones are just an effect of the environment that you're taking photos in. Okay, I think that's it, you guys. Let me know if you've been taking orb photos, and let me know who you associate them with. Usually it's very meaningful and very timely as to, you know, recently having lost a loved one, or like I said, family gatherings, or something big going on in your life. And getting those orb photos can make you feel so connected and just reaffirm to you that you're not alone. So let me know if you're getting those. Let me know how they feel and who you're associating with them. Write that down in the comments below. Of course, I always include this. It's okay. It's okay. Just a minute. I always include some of this information in my #1 spiritual grief healing program called Reconnect, because it's really important for me that as you're healing your grief, you're learning to connect with the afterlife on your own so that you can authentically continue your connection and your relationship with those that are in spirit. So check out my program. I always, like I said, I teach people how to get that really strong connection in the afterlife. So the program involves mediumship, really connecting with your ancestors and helping you heal the spiritual energies around grief as you're reconnecting and completing life lessons and soul contracts and all of those amazing things. Your loved ones always are meant to be in your life, and the time of their life is significant as well. There are death doors that they took, and sometimes it's really healing to find out why they selected a specific one. So be sure you check out that program. That's called Reconnect, my #1 spiritual grief healing program. As always, I have all my links below this video if you're on YouTube. It's probably above this video if you're on Facebook. Yeah, let me just make sure. I think that's it. I have some other videos on orbs as well on YouTube, so if you want more information, be sure you check those out. If you like this video, give me a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thanks so much, you guys. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.